Asbestos itself is a naturally occurring product and was bought in the United Kingdom in vast quantities, so in excess of 6 million tonnes of the product were bought in. It's a fantastic product. The problem with it is if it becomes disturbed, becomes airborne and then is breathed in, it can have a significant impact upon people's lives. Asbestos is by far and away the biggest industrial killer. In excess of 4,000 people in the year 2012 are going to die from having breathed in this product. All workplaces need to consider that risk and take appropriate steps to manage that risk effectively. A law was passed in 1999 to ban asbestos in all forms in construction products. So any building built prior to that date may well contain asbestos. The most important consideration is the safety of those who are going to be working in that environment. Clearly, if asbestos is there and they disturb it and they breathe those fibres in, that is where it can have lasting impact upon their life. In the worst case scenario, result in a range of lung diseases, which can prove fatal. The first effects are felt between 15 to 40 years after the initial exposure to the asbestos dust. So that must always be the primary concern, making sure the workplace is safe for those who are going to be working in there. From a business point of view, if you don't manage asbestos effectively, that is a breach of legislation and that can be punishable by fines and imprisonment. There's a recent case in 2011 of a major national retailer who were taken to court, found guilty and fined £1 million for failing to manage asbestos effectively in the refurbishment of one of their stores. So the penalties by the courts can be very, very severe. All workplaces built before the year 2000 must have an asbestos survey carried out. There are two types of asbestos survey. There is the management survey and the refurbishment and demolition survey. So as an absolute minimum, all workplaces must have the management level survey, where a surveyor would walk around the workplace and would have a look to see if they can identify any asbestos containing materials. They would take some samples, send them off to the laboratory, and they would produce an asbestos management plan if those materials did contain asbestos. If not, they would issue a clearance certificate which demonstrates that the workplace is clear. If there is asbestos containing materials, then the management plan and risk assessment would state where those materials are, what condition they're in, if they're at risk of being disturbed, and would provide instruction to the employer as to how they should manage that risk effectively. The second type of survey is refurbishment and demolition, which are designed for any workplace where they have plans to carry out any significant work on that premises. So once they've done the surveys, the next part of the management process would be for those employees who are going to be working in that environment. So anybody working in the construction trade, where they may work indoors, in any premises where they may encounter, work with or disturb asbestos-containing materials, they must attend at least a basic asbestos awareness training course, which talks about what asbestos is, what are the risks, and how they should work safely in those premises. If there's an individual worker who is going to be working with asbestos, then there are certain tasks that the HSE have described, which is classed as non-licensed work, which is minor, low-risk work on asbestos-containing materials. And for those individuals, there's an enhanced one-day course, usually organised by an accredited body, by UCATA, the United Kingdom Asbestos Training Association. If as a worker you're going to be stripping out asbestos and any significant work with the material, then clearly you need some enhanced training above and beyond that, and that's an extensive course on being a licensed contractor for the removal of asbestos.